today's topic of the day. So in Texas, they are trying to pass a bill that would ban all kids under 18 from social media. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think kids should not be allowed on social media?
I think it's always entertaining to me when old people try to stay a step ahead of people that are 10 times better than things that they are.
Yeah.
If they think that a bunch of 70-year-old white dudes are going to be able to effectively pass a law to ban 13-year-old people from being on social media, they're kidding themselves.
Yeah,
they're kidding themselves.
They are kidding themselves if they think this law, even if, let's say, it passes, that these 13-year-old kids are not going to get on social media.
Exactly.
They're going to do it.
Yeah.
If they want to, they are going to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like legally, aren't you supposed to be 13 when you order pizza or order anything? I remember when I was like 10 or 11, my parents would just leave us money, and I would just order the pizza or something like that. Like, they don't enforce that stuff. And I don't know. I don't really agree with it, though, because I feel like you're taking it out of the hands of the parents, who I think needs to be the ones that kind of are in control of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to be the ones that somehow they need to be on top of their own kids. Like, if they're on social media too much or whatever, I think don't take the power out of the parents. Just let them keep it. Like, I don't see why the government has to get involved there.
I'm a little anti a law like that. I see both sides more than maybe most, but because as a parent, I'm kind of seeing what not only the future but also just the present is.
Yeah.
It's like passing a law banning automobiles. So, like 100 years ago, passing a law banning automobiles, like we're gonna ride horses. It's as ridiculous as that.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, so
Yeah. I mean,
you have to pay attention.
And I get it. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are killing themselves over these TikTok challenges, or getting scammed, or getting getting bullied, getting like harassed and stuff. And I get all that, but like that is a very, very small percentage of kids that
That's a people problem,
yeah.
not a technology problem, though.
Right.
I think.
I agree.
Do you know why they want to do this? Why? What is the purpose?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's their reason?
Well, the reason is because they just feel from what I've read, they feel like kids just get into trouble with social media. They don't know how to handle it. They're not.
Before that, they didn't get into trouble.
They're not mature enough. Now, there is one theory out there. It's because they don't want kids to be savvy when it comes to politics, for when it's time for them to vote. And
I believe that.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's where
That's
I
a
would.
political move right there.
That is the reason that they're not saying it's about, but they're using other
Where did you
excuses.
say? Texas?
Texas, yeah.
So heavily
Right.
Republican, who don't want the
Young
Gen
people.
Z
Which
to
is
vote
so
for-
weird.
They need the
It's
old
so
voters.
weird because killing is a people problem, not a gun problem. But being bullied on social media, that's a social media
Not a
problem.
technology
Yeah,
problem.
it's really weird how they have that.
Slightly hypocritical.
Very.
That's
Texas
a good
is-
It
comparison.
sounds like whenever, like, they wanted to ban video games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in the 90s.
I was gonna say, it
90s,
sounds just like that.
and the music caused the problem
Mhm.
too. That was why there's.
Yeah, I think you gotta let parents parent and stuff like that. Like, they know their kids better. They know everything, and be involved. Now they should be. They should be, whether they are or not. That's on them. But I'm saying, like, I believe that parents should have the power and control over their own child. If not, then that's on them. But that's what I believe. I don't think.
You believe that about smoking or like alcohol consumption? The same.
Yeah,
way?
I feel like you should know what your child is doing.
But I mean, like
You should.
But
you know.
I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I think I agree.
Yeah.
Just to take a counterpoint,
Mm.
would you say like that you have like the law of being 18 to smoke? Do you think that should be parents' choice of when their kids can be?
Well, see,
buy
but
cigarettes
see,
legally?
smoking and alcohol, that actually has bodily effects. That actually can hurt
You
you.
don't
You
think
can
social
drink.
media-
You can have You can have alcohol poisoning. I mean, smoking can cause all kinds of health effects and stuff like that. Social media, used the right way by a child, is not going to hurt them. It does not hurt a child to go on their favorite gaming website. Does not hurt a child to go onto Facebook and communicate with their relatives. Absolutely no harm done whatsoever. However, if they navigate the websites they're not supposed to go to because the parents didn't set parental controls or didn't actually monitor their use of said thing, that's different.
How'd those parental controls work for you?
They don't
Exactly.
Well,
Find a way.
I'm just saying, like the kids, they're going to find a way. Whether the law goes into effect or not, those kids want to be on social media. They're gonna do it.
yeah.
And it's not, I don't think that's a parenting thing necessarily either, because I value myself as being, I think, a decent parent. However, my kids were older, and I find out that I had no clue what they were doing.
Yeah, right. But
I thought I did.
But if you catch them, who gets to work? Who gets to dish out the consequences?
Yeah, that's
You or
just
the
it,
government?
I didn't.
Who would you rather punish?
Well, it depends.
Who would you rather
It
you
depends
punish?
what they did.
But
It depends what they did and what severity of what they did, that I wouldn't have any choice then of what their punishment actually was. I am fortunate enough that they did not do anything that actually got themselves like seriously in trouble.
Mhm.
But if, so let's say they did, then the government's going to step in no matter what anyway, right?
Depending on what they did. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the severity of what they did, the government's going to take over anyway.
Right. Yes,
So
but
it's
for the
kind of-
government to say that your child cannot be on Facebook because
Yeah, I know. I think
they
it's
don't
kind
think
of
they're ready
frivolous.
for it or something like that.
No word.
I think it's kind of
Yeah.
a frivolous law because it's social
Yeah.
media. We're talking social media. But
Mhm.
however, we have seen effects of mental health
Mhm.
that the social media does play, whether it is good or bad, because you
Yeah.
can look at like even like a good side of it and have like the influence who are actually like quote unquote promoting like a good
Yeah.
like product or whatever, but then these kids see it in a different way and they're and it could affect their mental health in that way.
Yeah.
I think it's silly to have the government, because we're talking literally technology, but
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know.
So you're saying whether they make it law or not, it doesn't matter. There's
Oh, yeah.
Kids are still going to
Oh
find
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, my thing is parents should be, and they should be the front line of defense for that, and that's how it should be.
Sure,
Now, when it comes
right.
to like actual crimes of harassing and bullying, because you do hear people, or you hear stories of where kids were bullied into suicide and stuff like that. Yeah, there should definitely be legal consequences for that.
Isn't that how it is not technically? Should
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
is.
isn't
It
that
is
how
now. That is how it is now, and I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to something so petty as, kids should not be allowed to be on Facebook or Instagram or anything, I think that's where it's kind of too extreme. Too extreme. Now, I think parents should be the ones that are monitoring, knowing who they're talking to and everything. And I do understand as a parent that is easier said than done. But I would rather be the one that says what they can do on social media rather than than the government. That's all I'm saying. I'd rather be the parent that stays on top of it. I'm not going to rely on the government to dictate what my child can do on social media.
Yeah, I think I've realized, because I kind of pride myself on knowing a decent amount about technology, but I can see that gap closing with my
Yeah.
kids. I got like a couple of years,
Mhm.
and they're just going to be way ahead of me.
You were talking about
And
this
I'm going to be
morning.
trying to keep up with the stuff they're doing. Like,
You were talking
know
about
where
this
to
morning how your young one was on something that you had no clue
Yeah.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
and he's teaching.
Or there's on
and he's-
scratch. Like,
yeah,
what is that?
you have no idea, and it just gets scary and scarier.
Mhm.
It does. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the government really should be involved in it, but
Yeah.
they will be anyway. Let's
Yeah.
just say they are, whether we think they are or not,
Mhm.
they are anyway. Because
Right.
the severity becomes, higher than what your parenting skills or your parenting
Yeah.
punishment's going to be. The government's going to step in anyway, or even
Yeah.
schools.
Mhm.
Because as much as we hate it, the schools watch what you guys do,
Mhm.
or used to watch. You're not in school anymore,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they watch what the kids do.
Well, yeah, because kids see what they're doing and they take it to school. They share it amongst their friends and they show it to the
What is
teacher, and then it becomes a distraction.
What was
I
that
get that.
stupid app that you guys had problems with? You were in high school. Was that you?
Yeah.
Or was that your sister?
There was one app that got banned. I forget. It was like an anonymous
Yeah, it
shit
was.
talk. Yeah,
Right.
pretty much.
It was not TikTok. It was
What?
Yik Yak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
you could
even heard of
you could
Yeah.
you could just go, it was like based on like the area you were in. You could just go onto this board and anybody could see it. You could just say stuff anonymously, and like everybody would
Oh,
see
it
it.
was
If
just-
you were like in this area or whatever.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it was essentially for kids. It was just a platform to go on there and just
Bully, essentially.
yeah, just
The
or
school and the
say a
police
bunch of
department.
just horrendous things to each other with
It was a
Yeah.
study.
no
app.
name behind it.
Sure.
And that got banned by.
the school district, and the police department got involved.
Do you know of anyone that actually got in trouble for those things? Like in school
I don't
legal
know.
stuff? Anything?
Oh no.
Yeah,
I know like some other stuff I've seen like with like other social medias people getting in trouble with like at school
Well,
and
just
stuff
because
like
that does pertain a little bit to this,
Mhm.
do you think that decreased the usage of it, having it banned?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
app,
it's
I haven't heard that app talked about in years.
It was a
Yeah.
very short time that it happened, and it
Mhm.
was explosive. And then as soon as it like
Well-
exploded, it went away too, because like I said, the police department got involved.
They were really strict at school though with
With
phone
phones.
usage after that. Like no one
Yo,
could
yeah,
have their
you
phone
guys
out in the
did.
hallway.
And that can
Like
be pretty
the rest
effective,
of our
I think. I think it'd be
seniors.
Yeah.
pretty good
I
at that.
guess it worked.
I think in 2022, I think looking at how COVID and mask lawsuits and all that, I think there would be lawsuits against banning something like that. Because whether or not I agree with it, I'm not sure. A local police department has the right to ban use of an app.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think it'd be so impossible
Yeah.
to
We were
enforce
kind
and
of-
get tossed
yeah.
out in court
Yeah.
so quickly.
right. I feel like, yeah.
Might be a side discussion.
I
I
mean,
think it'd be
that's-
almost
yeah.
impossible to actually enforce that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were kind of surprised that the school even was involved, but
Well, if it was taking, I mean, a lot of it was taking place on
well, yeah, but like Taylor
at
said,
school.
the worst thing, the
Yeah.
most I think that they could have done was ban your cell phone usage at school, and like
Yeah.
you said, they did
Yeah.
get a little
The
bit
consequence,
more
Yeah,
the phone's
I-
out, some kind
yeah.
of consequence you don't want to deal with.
But
Yeah.
the fact that they were more so involved than just
Well, I
that
think
was
it
kind of
wasn't.
interesting.
I don't think it was just people just saying mean things. Like I think it was like
Was it threat?
it was a
I think it
pretty
was a threat.
serious thing.
Oh, okay.
Why they got involved in it. It wasn't just
Oh,
like kids were
yeah.
making fun of each other, saying mean things.
Yeah.
Like some sort of like school threats or
Like I'm pretty
sure
sure it
like
was
bomb
It had
threats
to
or
there was
shooting
like
threats.
some harassment stuff was going on there. Like
Mhm.
It
people
had
were
to,
saying stuff
yeah.
about like one person, and then it would just be like 100 people saying stuff about that.
Mhm.
And when it's all happening at school,
Yeah.
Of 400 people.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I could definitely see the issues with that.
Yeah,
For sure.
it wasn't just something tiny where
So-
police got involved with it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It wasn't really the app, it was the people getting on the app that were
Which is
the issue.
That's just
that's every
Yeah.
one of them. Then
Yeah.
yeah. It's every social media. Like Tyler said, it's not
Mhm.
the technology; it's the people problem,
Mhm.
and that's where we need to
Yeah.
teach our
I don't think
children.
it'll fix anything.
That's
No, because kids are mean anyway.
that's what I
Well, just like the app stuff, like banning like all social media under the age of 18, I don't think
Mhm.
would fix anything. I feel like that's just them. It's it was rock music and it was violent video games and now it's
Yeah.
social media. Which
Rap
one is
music.
it?
yeah. It's
There's
it's always
something
we're always trying to point the finger at other things.
than just teaching your kids to be good humans.
Exactly. And I'm not saying every parent, I'm just saying, but there are some out there that probably don't do a great job at communicating with their child about what's the right way to be a great human being, a decent human being, like there is a lot of that out there, and I feel like that's the first thing that needs to be.
Isn't Facebook technically 13 anyway?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
How old were you? You weren't 13
Oh, I was.
when I signed you up for Facebook. So how many
Like
parents?
2008, maybe
Yeah.
like 10, 11.
So how many parents are going to do that anyway
Yeah.
for their kids?
Mhm.
Or these kids are so tech savvy though; they're going to figure it. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it? A matter of checking a box,
Right.
and then you have to go
It's always been-
verify an
yeah.
email.
Are you
So they're going to
18 or
create a
older?
new email.
Yeah. And really, that is social living now for everybody, not just kids. Like, what is there to do? I mean, when we grew up, we could go to the mall. Do kids even go to the mall and hang out anymore?
Have you been to them?
There's
It's
skate.
pointless to go to.
We used to go to skating rinks. There was the teen center that we used to go to. There was a bunch of stuff. I don't even know if that stuff is even around anymore. So how do they expect teenagers, high schoolers, outside of getting together and drinking and partying at someone's house,
It's a small town thing.
really, that is their social life. You know what I'm saying? That's how they communicate with their friends and stuff like that. So I feel like also that is kind of mean to take that away from,
I understand the purpose of why they would like to do so.
Mhm.
I mean, some of these kids, you just can't get away, and it's nice to be able to just leave your peers at school sometimes.
Yeah.
But
You can't. You just turn it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like you could some kind of middle ground as
Mhm.
far as like uninstalling, blocking, things like that.
Yeah.
That could still there's someone that can't get away. Like if the parents are hopefully at least aware of it,
Mhm.
they can like, we're cutting this stuff off. Take it old school. Watch some TV.
Make
Yeah,
sure there's no old phones laying around your house that still have Wi-Fi access.
yeah. Yeah, I know it's a struggle for real, and it's hard to navigate which is right and what's wrong, and how to do this and that. But that's parenting 101 right there. That's what it's like being a parent. So, but I don't think the answer is everyone on our team, no social
No,
media
I
for
don't
you.
either.
Nope, I don't think that's the
I
answer.
don't think it's gonna be very effective. So make the law; it won't be effective.
Yeah.
You'll
Well,
have
it's
the
like TikTok was like, all right, we shut down at 10 p.m. for everyone's time zone, just so the app stops working. That's not gonna happen.
No,
Right.
It won't happen.
Yeah, so I don't like it. So
Against.
against.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
Really, would be pretty pointless.
That's what I think.
Awesome. All right. Well, there we have it.
Yeah, you guys heard of Roblox?
Mhm.
Yeah.